20 sides to every story. My name is Casey. Tonight we're going to be playing some Walking Dead Universe by Free League. It is a D6 based game in the Walking Dead universe, as says the name. And we're going to have some fun and see how this one goes. This is our episode 0 as we are finishing up some character creation, building out our backstory, and deciding on what NPCs the party may have along with them. So far, the party has done a little bit of the character creation. They have selected themselves an archetype each, giving an outline and a specialty for their characters. They have picked some names, so I know that we've got a Tabitha, a Charlie, a Red, and a Jude that will be joining us. They've each picked an issue, something that's a little bit broken inside, and is the weakness upon which I shall play. They've also got a drive, and that is what has kept them alive and keeps them moving forward in this world of the dead. They can use that once per session to get 2 additional dice on a challenge. They've spread 13 points among their attributes. They've spread 12 points among their skills. They've each chosen a talent based on their archetype, and they've rolled up some gear. And I believe there is a pizza car, a motorcycle, a few guns, some machetes, and a few herbs spread amongst the party so far. The part that we are now up to is defining the relationships with their other PCs and rolling up their NPCs. So, because I'm going to need a little bit of time to break out the NPCs once I have the roll, I'm going to ask the party to test their dice by each rolling me a d6, and we're going to go majority rule. If you happen to get 2 or more of the same answer, that's the one we'll go with. So if I can get a d6 from everybody. Red's got a 1 so far.
Did we ever find out where, like,
Charlie's
there
got a
like a
4. There should
dice-
now be a menu at the bottom that's got the dice sizes. I put it in a dice roller. Bottom right-hand corner, little dice.
I don't see that.
Uh-oh.
I don't see
Front
anything.
/ R 1d6, and I am new to Foundry, so I have not got the manual set up. So far, number 1 is winning. And who do I not have? Tabitha, Charlie, Jude?
Coming.
God damn it, Jude.
Jude would just need to roll a 4 to make my life more complicated than it needs to be.
What is a
/
/R space 1d6. Other forward slash.
no.
My other one didn't work. I know
Other
that. I
slash
know.
and then R.
No, I was using that one.
Do you? Do you?
It wasn't working.
God damn it, Jude.
I know,
Just
that's
roll
the
the
space.
dice.
It's still
He's
the.
forgetting the R.
Where's
They're
the...
coming through the door! In real life stress.
Oh.
I'm trying to get supplies.
There we
Three.
go. And that's a 3. So that means number 1 wins. You will be having NPC Survivor Anthony Brooks, Melissa Anderson, Robert Young, Bobby Miller, and Abigail Miller. I will have some information on those for you shortly. But while I get that dialed in, what I'd like to have you do to distract everybody is start to describe yourselves. Do I have a volunteer to share a little bit about your character and maybe what's gone on with you so far, how you feel you've integrated with the group? There will be a total of 10 of you. We're a player short at the moment, so we'll have a mystery ad happening hopefully next session. You are in Keene Valley, which is a spot in northern New York. It's a little bit mountainous. You're 1,000 and so feet above sea level. The spot that you've holed up in is a little higher up still into the mountains. It is bitterly cold and a bit snowy up there. So the first year, 2010, when the zombie outbreak began, you were outside of New York City, which is a ways south to you. You've got a couple other cities scattered around and a few resorts. But you basically sheltered in place. The winter set in. No real hordes of walkers came through, though we haven't decided they're called walkers yet. Hordes of things didn't really come through, but you were seeing them in ones and twos. Electricity went out, utilities went down, radio stations stopped broadcasting. Winter got ugly, but you made it. The next year, 2011, probably some scavenging in the small town, gathering things, waiting for some sort of structure to take place. Never did. You managed to settle in for this next winter of 2011. You're coming out the far side of that. It's now March. You've identified that you're not going to have enough resources in that town for yourselves and the couple of other folks that are sheltering in and around this area so far. We've got at least one other group, your neighbors effectively. They're a couple of streets away in a similar situation that you interacted with in some fashion over the years. I'll leave it up to you whether that was wary helpfulness, actual helpfulness, outright shooting at each other. Any of those things could be there. Do we have a person volunteering to lead off with introducing their character and give a little insight on what you think the last 2 years have been like in this world of the dead?
I'll go first.
All right, Charlie, lead us off
So
while I reveal some NPCs.
So I'm Daw. I am playing Charlie. He is the archetype of a criminal. At the start of the outbreak, he was running with a gang back in New York City. But then once the dead started walking and all hell went loose, he decided it was high time to get out. So he took his younger brother and fled New York City in the hopes of surviving out whatever the hell this may be. He is in his, I would say, mid to low 20s. Typically would see him wearing like cargo pants, tank top. He has tattoos, sleeves going all up both arms. Also commonly seen wearing a headband from time to time. You know him as the guy who comes in riding on the motorcycle when scavenging runs are happening. And his sole focus right now is just to protect his younger brother, and he will let you know and will not take anyone's shit.
Sounds good. Now, as far as younger brothers go, how younger are you thinking?
As long as they're younger than 20 something.
Younger than 20 something. We can make something like that work. We got a Robert Young in the group. He is definitely in the kid range. Could definitely be shifted to your younger brother. If none of the other PCs volunteer there, we'll get some of that exposed in a second. So that's a potential kid brother there. Tabitha, Red, Jude.
Well, I'll be playing Red. He is when the outbreak occurred, he was a film student, and him and his romantic partner at the time were documenting some of the early reports and such, and they, before it was known that this was going to become a bigger thing than it turned out to be. And of course, the two of them got sort of wrapped up with things and got up to their needing to stick together to kind of survive. Red doesn't really, he's no longer with that individual as he comes into the group and doesn't talk much about it. He's spent a little bit of time by himself, came into the group with a car that he came upon, his pizza delivery truck or pizza delivery car. He's relatively agreeable. He doesn't really speak up too much. He's a bit more of a follower than a leader. But he is always very eager to like volunteer if there are things that need doing or supplies that need getting. He is always eager to try to help out and prove his worth to the group. In terms of appearance, he pretty plain looking, really kind of wears his hair a little bit shaggier, longer. He's got kind of like a kind of like an army jacket that he wears, but it's full of like patches from various like film festivals and things that he's attended over the years. Just a little piece of the before times that he still carries around with him.
Sure. And I'd say after 2 years of no professional barbers, most people are looking a little shaggy, but if Red's doing it intentionally, definitely an option for him there. Awesome. That then gives us Tabitha or Jude as our next introduction there.
I'll try giving it a go.
Sure.
Okay, so can you run the questions by me just one more time?
Sure. So a little bit what you've been doing over this last year to 2 years that you got to this area, either just near the pandemic or like Charlie did, heading out, staying ahead of it, get into this area, and then anything that you'd like to say to influence the relationship with not your group but others around you. Have you drawn first on someone? When you were out gathering the cans and the other group was also gathering cans and you're looking at their station wagon and they're looking at your station wagon, how'd that go?
Okay. So let's start. So so in BZ before zombies, she was, well, I guess I should say Tabitha. Her archetype is the homemaker.
Okay.
And so right before the apocalypse, she's actually like a recently divorcee. Got it out of what started out like you're young, it's all good, but then it just kind of doesn't last. Recently divorced, set up like a swapping off for her twins. And after the divorce, it was the husband's turn with the kids, so she decided to take what she thought would be a short trip kind of back to like her hometown area or like vacationing hometown area, where like her family would go to like during like the winter time to kind of see if like get like a fresh like mental start. And right when she kind of hit the area for her vacation is when the apocalypse hit. And afterwards, she has been trying to find out ways to reach back out to her family. She did a rental car here and she was going to get a new one and hasn't been able to get one back to Get Back. And so in need of help from others, she kind of she probably would have been eager to seek out help from other people, try to help where she can, and I can't think of anything specifically that might have like kind of helped her like in with the group to kind of release some steam. She started taking like mixed martial arts classes, so like she's kind of like strong and knows how to protect and handle herself, so that kind of maybe would have been good for like getting some help in. She could be pretty stealthy. She knows the area, so she's like a stronger scout in the area. I think that's it. I think I covered everything.
Sure. You got it. All right. And then that leads us to Jude. Jude, who have we got?
Jude. Jude is an archetype of a soldier. As far as his issues that he has, it seems that he is a bit loud and boisterous when it comes to his opinions. He thinks he knows what is best. So maybe there might be a bit of maybe butting heads sometimes with Charlie. he, as far as what he has been through, he grew up kind of more in the rural area. He is trained well with with shooting. He has he's never seen like action. He's never really gone to war or anything, but he has been he has shot, and through the course of this pandemic, he has shot at people.
Okay.
And has probably killed a few to survive. He was with his girlfriend, who ended up getting eaten. So he's a bit callous when it comes. He feels that if she would have listened to him, then she would have still been alive with him. So there's a bit of a hardness to him when it comes to doing things that are dumb. He has no problem telling others what he thinks is right in the situation. Because obviously he is right because he's still alive. He has a few weapons with him. He has his pistol and his assault rifle. And he finds himself with the group now.
Sounds good. All right, so with those outlines, let's talk a little bit about the 5 other people who have taken shelter with you. So the lodge that you've taken shelter in is a fairly big, but meant more for maybe 1 or 2 family vacation home. But the thing that drew you to this particular building out of the ones that are around, one didn't have any of the afflicted in it. It had a old manual water pump outside that was functional, so you are able to get fresh water out of it. And it has a big fireplace centrally located in the building, so it can heat itself with firewood. It's got a stone base. It's got some raised decking around, so it was fairly reasonable for you to secure. We'll talk about whether you've done a good job or that in a little bit. And it's got an outdoor kind of porch patio where you can pile up firewood, supplies, things like that that don't need to be inside but need to be close at hand and kept within reach, out of the snow, up in a nice semi-secure location for you there. The others who joined you were Charlie's brother, Robert. Charlie, are you good with the last name Young, or should I change Robert's last name, or is he...
Works good.
You got it. So Robert Young. He is a kid archetype. We'll say that he was probably somewhere between 14 to 16 2 years ago, so he's somewhere between 16 and 18 now. We'll narrow that down. Robert's asthmatic. He's having some trouble in this cold, dry air, so that's something you got to be on the lookout for. But he feels he absolutely matured. He probably thought you were babying him a little bit, earlier. He thinks he can take care of himself. He always is pushing it just a little bit too hard, getting himself wheezing, but then he wants to be right back into it. For the rest of y'all, what would you consider your relationships to Robert to be? If you were consolidating it down to, he is my one of these things. And there were some suggestions on the archetype there. Charlie, we got brother there. Tabitha, what do you feel of Robert?
I'm like, sorry, I'm pulling up the suggestion things
Sure.
to remember what they were. She'd probably kind of... She'd probably kind of feel like some like sympathy or like empathy towards him because she misses her own kids. So she's probably a little softer on him than others.
Okay.
Because she still sees him as a kid, but like, so it's like neutral, warm, like,
Gotcha.
yeah, surrogate kid.
Surrogate kid. That's it. That's a fair maybe a little overprotective, a little overforgiving, not quite treating him like an adult. That gives me a decent
Hmm.
base expectation. Red, how about you?
Probably more of a neighborly relationship. Like he would be like super close with him, but like would certainly look out for him.
Okay.
Uh, kind of for Charlie's sake, like whatever Charlie's like rules or boundaries are for him, he would probably reinforce those.
Got it. And Jude, how about you?
I think he is probably someone he sees as. I think for him it might be a worry. He's a
Mhm.
kid with asthma. He's gonna get some people killed.
So you're
Maybe
seeing
a
him for
maybe
the liability he might be.
a liability.
Okay.
Yeah. He cares about the kid, but he's a liability.
Sounds good. Now, along with Robert there, who is Charlie's brother, we've got some other family going on. Excuse me, Bobby and Abigail Miller. Abigail is a farmer from not too far away. Actually, the far side of the town. There's a small farm there where they do some hothouse or greenhouse growing. She was part of the family that owned that farm, was able to get away when the outbreak came. She's got a foot that healed badly, so she moves with a limp. It doesn't slow her down too bad, but when the weather comes in, she definitely knows about it. She is in the range of maybe 40 to 50, so she's a little bit older. She has an adult son, Bobby, and Bobby is a little more rough and tumble. He was obviously going to be working the farm with her, but maybe wasn't as interested in it. Um, he's pretty handy, with the untoward elements. And those of you who have some shadiness in their background might recognize a kindred soul. Um, Abigail is all about protecting Bobby. That is her number one priority. She has hooked up with another member of the group, Anthony. So the two of them are maybe not a couple, but a couple of convenience. Um, and so that is the Millers, two of the other folks with you. Along with the Millers, you've got Anthony Brooks. Anthony is was a teacher. He's not from around here, but he was in the area when things went down. He took up with Abigail. He's maybe a little younger, in the 35 to 40 range, but the two of them seem to be getting on. And then the last person in the group is Melissa Anderson. Melissa is a screenwriter. Was out here looking for inspiration. She's maybe a little too caught up in her head, spooks easily, is up at nights, has trouble sleeping. Kind of works out for you as far as someone keeping watch, but you've definitely been woken up, a time or two too many by her taking fright. Out of the list, is there anybody that someone's like, oh, I want to nail down this relationship with this person, or should I start asking my way down the line? All right, so then let's go ahead and start off with Abigail. Abigail is the farmer, a little bit older, has the son as well as a cuddle buddy. For Abigail, we'll go in reverse order. Jude, what relationship would you have with Abigail?
Abigail is she's useful.
Hmm.
She's kind. Kind of I don't know. Maybe I have a as far as she's useful, she has skills. So maybe I see her as someone who should be respected.
Got it. Red, how about you?
I think maybe she is someone that he, I don't know, maybe looks up to a little bit, almost sees as like a older sister or whatever.
Mhm.
He probably goes out of his way, if he's ever going out on a supply run, to ask if there's anything specifically like she needs, particularly like comfort things, or like if she's trying to bake or or make something special for Bobby, he'll make special effort to try to get that for her.
Sounds good. Charlie.
Very similar out, more of a respected role. She knows what she's doing with the test she is good at, and he won't take that away from her.
Okay. And Tabitha.
I'm sorry to say this too, but I want to also say respect
Okay.
because I'm kind of thinking along the lines of maybe if Tabitha had been here like during like throughout like during the season like with her family, then maybe she grew up kind of being like vaguely familiar with maybe more so Bobby, but like would know Abby because that would be his mom.
Mhm.
So probably kind of more of like a respect thing is more kind of doesn't like listens to her, kind of still has that like you're like you're kind of like the second kid and like taking care of you kind of thing. So she'll probably like same thing, like kind of respect, doesn't really fight back with her, just from like knowing her for so long.
Sounds good. That is a solid set and kind of gives me a good idea what Abigail's sort of role is. Now, Abigail's son, Bobby, a little bit more of a scamp in the mid to late 20s range for Bobby. Did I do that math right? Yep. Uh, he'd like to be top dog, but I think a lot of people would like to be top dog. How are y'all getting along with Bobby? Go from the middle out here. That'll start us with Charlie.
I'd say it's definitely more confrontational when it comes to
Okay.
the working relationship. I'd say if we were to both go out together, it's a lot of probably us bickering back and forth. What's the best way to do something?
Got it. I know best, you know best. How about Red?
He could kind of see if he's like stirring the pot or whatever. Like Red wouldn't directly confront him in that way. But maybe more of like trying to get him to think about the consequences of what you're doing for it. Like we gotta work together. He'll always just kind of like more passively try to redirect him to heed the advice or follow the hierarchy of the group.
Okay. Would you say that that falls more to like a familial parent uncle role or more like a chain of command, sergeant lieutenant, kind of,
I think Red more equal probably because Red doesn't see himself as
Okay.
very high up that chain of command, so more like more as like a peer.
Got it. More of a hey, you got to toe the line or it makes us all look bad kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. How about Jude?
You say he's a scamp?
He is a bit of a scamp. Decent boxer. You've seen him working out.
Mm,
Quick with his hands.
I guess depending on what I've seen from him, I would say that he is a bit too self-indulgent and self-driven. He's not good for the group.
Okay.
I'd see like he is a potential threat as far as the group going awry if they follow him.
Gotcha. And then Tabitha, how do we feel about Bobby Miller?
Used to be friends with him as a kid, maybe over time as they got older, like kind of relationship distanced. And maybe like because you mentioned the boxing and it's kind of fun, I'm thinking like for her, she like took up some kind of fighting thing. So maybe she kind of has now like kind of like rekindled a friendship and is kind of like almost like bros with him a little bit. Like they're kind of like kind of like throwing punches at each other. So like
Sure.
Past friend, refound friend. I have a feeling that maybe he would be the NPC anchor for her, but I'll wait to hear the other ones before I say that. But that one feels like the most natural fit.
Sounds good. All right. And so as far as the rest go, that was Abigail and then Bobby Miller. We did Robert, who is Charlie's brother. We've then got Melissa Anderson as well as Anthony Brooks. Anthony Brooks, since he has a more tight integration with the Millers. Anthony is a teacher. He's from a little bit further out. He was passing through the area when everything went to pot. Over the course of that first winter, he started spending more and more time with Abigail, and as the pickings in the world looked slim, the two managed to find one another, and he is, in a relationship with her. He's a bit stubborn. He kind of set in his ways, kind of teacher knows best sort of attitude there. He's got a map of the area with multiple safe houses marked out, and he's sort of been insistent that if things do go wrong, we do this, we do this, we do this, we do this. So he's got a plan that he is very firmly attached to as what's fallback place number 1, number 2, number 3. I'm not sure if everybody agrees with it, but he does have a plan. How's everybody feel about Anthony? Anybody got an immediate impression they want to share?
I will start with this one.
Scamp is a good one to know. Sorry, go ahead.
I feel like for Anthony, with this kind of bullish, stubborn mule type thing, maybe Tabitha would feel, I don't know if maybe combative is the right word, but also kind of digs her heels in a little bit with him. Like maybe he reminds her of like the ex-husband, so she's just kind of like gut reaction, like you remind me of this person, I don't want to give in, like, so just kind of digs her heels and kind of maybe fights back a little bit.
Got it. Fair. Charlie, Red, Jude?
I think so. Red sees him as the leader of the group at the beginning, although he doesn't really like him. So he's for a lot of reasons. One is that he has a relationship, and there's a bit of envy. Like clearly, Red has some sort of loss that happened for him, and that kind of irks him a little bit that he has something that he wishes he had. But nonetheless, he's the guy that has the plan, and Red will follow that plan kind of silently, but he will back him up.
Sounds good. Charlie. Muted?
I would view him as a very cowardly and weak individual. While he may be stubborn on the outside, he's seen this kind of behavior in other people before and knows when push comes to shove, he's going to get pushed over.
Okay. And Jude.
I see him as noise and indifferent.
Okay.
I would see I would think maybe Abigail in his eyes is a little bit more of a leader. He always defers to her, so he would just see him as white noise and a person with a map that knows a few things.
Okay. Sounds good. So that gives us Anthony. And then our last person that we haven't talked about yet is Melissa. She's a screenwriter, was in the area looking for inspiration up in the mountains. She's a little over imaginative, perhaps easily scared. Obviously, not somebody who's spent a lot of time out of doors up in the mountains. Uh, she does carry a taser, and I have a feeling that one or two of you have been shocked, but no permanent harm done. She is also in her mid-20s. Looking through here. Anything else we want to talk about? Fairly convincing when she talks, but spooks a little too quick to be any sort of leader. What are we thinking?
I think this is probably Red's NPC anchor.
Okay.
He would not have ever been shocked by the taser, but maybe he wishes he had been, because that
Okay.
would imply a closer relationship than what he currently has with her. He obviously have shared interests because she's a screenwriter, and so they have some similar interests from the before times and everything like that. But he does not have the self-confidence really to do much more than be neighborly with her.
Fair enough.
So but if she were to die or be not a part of the group or whatever, it would affect him, because he superimposes maybe some feelings that he had for someone else kind of onto her.
Sure. But you've got also those shared interests, so you could definitely spend some time reminiscing, talking screenwriting, talking story structure, and kind of ground yourself from everything that's going on out there. Tabitha, Charlie, Jude.
I'd say on the other end of the spectrum, he's probably been tased by her on multiple occasions
Okay.
with his gruffer demeanor. I'd say she's nice for the most part, but an absolute liability on everyone's resources is how he would feel about her.
Okay.
But hey, she takes the night shift, so good for her.
You got it. Tabitha, Jude.
I'm going to say that there might be a little bit of animosity between Red and Jude, because he also sees a lot of his past girlfriend in her, and as hard he is on everyone else, he kind of just lets her be and tries to teach her to go around back and aim a gun and whatnot.
Sure.
So I don't know if he necessarily is ready to like make a move, but he's definitely like, when his voice is always softer when he talks to her.
Very fair. All right, so I've got a decent layout of who knows what with the other folks. And so now what I will ask is, of those, do we have any other insights as to who would be your anchors? And you can have the same person, so more than one can be your anchor. I think I heard Tabitha say it might be Bobby.
I think I'll stick with that. Like, they both have kind of, they've known each other before, even if like the friendship relationship kind of dropped off as they got older, but kind of rekindled again on their mutual appreciation for just like fighting styles. And so probably when they're both kind of feeling frustrated, like just like go somewhere to like practice throw some punches and just kind of get it out. And so she kind of sees him as like a anchor. Yeah, perfect word.
Sure, you got it. Now, Charlie, is your brother your anchor, or is he more stress? What are you thinking?
I'd say he's a definite anchor.
Okay.
Of all the people here, he's the best one to hang out with.
Fair enough. And then that leaves us with Jude.
I'm gonna go with Abigail, as whenever he has stress or he's talking about things, what he thinks, she always listens and gives insight that he really appreciates.
Sounds good. Oh, and I apologize, Alira. I did see your message earlier. I would say probably do not buy any re-rolls tonight. We will get a little bit of combat towards the end, but it will be baby steps combat, so probably not in need of re-rolls tonight. All right. So with what we've learned about each other, now it is time to pick anchors among the PCs. And so let's start off with the odd numbers, which would be Charlie first. Charlie, have you selected a anchor from Tabitha, Red, or Jude?
No.
No.
I'd say the only one that can currently come close, just from what I've heard, I'd say with Tabitha, because apparently she knows how to throw hands.
Okay.
Gotta love those Krav Maga classes, those boxing classes. I haven't picked one, but she took classes and she's getting the anger out.
Fair enough.
Ponytail.
I'd say a definite workout buddy.
All right.
Yep. And she respects your brother.
All right. So that actually answers part 2 there is workout buddy is a good description of a relationship there. Jude, you're the other odd number. Jude, have you selected a anchor among the PCs?
I'm going to say right now my anchor is going to be Red because
Okay.
I feel Red, I go to him and I feel he's a safe person to just all my frustration about the group and whatnot. He always listens and he always is very agreeable with me. So that's kind of what I want. So being able to relieve stress and always rely on him to kind of fall in line and whatnot kind of has got me close with him.
Sounds good. So you got Red as your steam vent buddy. Since we were talking about Red, have you selected?
I think it probably would be Jude because I imagine the two of them might go out on runs together and they spend a lot of time going down into the town like scavenging for things, and so and he listens to him. I think he respects him as well. I think he maybe wishes or hopes that the others in the group might see Jude as the leader or follow his direction more often than not. He agrees with his assessment of things, but
Okay. And then Tabitha, who is your anchor?
I feel like the easiest would be to say Charlie,
Okay.
being workout buddies and kind of wanting like getting out her motherly instinct by kind of like helping with his brother. So I feel like it's a good setup there to probably be like talking and working with him the most.
Okay.
I think I'd say generally respects all the other PC characters, but is most likely going to be anchored with Charlie.
Sounds good. That gives us a pretty good outline. I will be playing upon those things in the future, and I will be asking for refining of those relationships as we move forward, but that gives me enough to get us into our next couple of steps, which is going to be talking about the situation as it stands. So let me go ahead and flip us over to a quick map of Keene Valley here. You should be able to see the valley popping up now. So the Keene Valley itself is a small valley located on Route 73. There's a little bit of a town going on there, a couple of roads that head up into the mountains themselves, and some lodges, vacation homes, that sort of thing. Away to the north and west is the actual Olympic ski site near Lake Placid, and away down, way down there, eventually you get to New York. So it's a fairly isolated little area, quite cold. When the outbreak happened, you were here for various reasons, or you arrived shortly thereafter, basically getting ahead of the crowd that were trying to flee the cities. You took the less traveled route, managed to weave your way up here, find this location. During that first year, you were able to come together, winter, make friends, build those relationships, get away from the walkers and such. And that's where I'll ask, does anyone need to append their backstory with a requirement for their talent? Some of those talents say you must have done this thing or had this happen. Did we discuss all of those, or is there any additional backstory items we need to add in?
I guess maybe I'll say that, like, for my talent.
Mhm.
Wait, what was my talent? Oh yeah, it was like back against the wall. You had to like fight back against something. For the sake of clarity and like saying like what's in her backstory, I'd say like the divorce and fighting back against her ex-husband is probably that thing, or
Okay.
maybe with we could also include her kind of her own whole bullheadedness with Anthony Brooks when she kind of like gets a little abrasive with him, so that potential two ways to bring in the backstory with the talent.
Sure, sounds good. All right, that gets us through that kind of set. Now it is going into March, April of 2012 at this point, so it's the beginning of the third year, and there isn't enough cans in the grocery store for you to do this again. So there needs to be some sort of plan to at least get food together or something. And that's where I'm going to kind of turn it over to the party. I would say, based on what we know, Abigail has sort of been outlining a plan to say, if we can get to the east side of town, if we can get to the farm, if we could get that cleared out, I could help y'all plant y'all. No, she's way up north, New York accent, whatever that sounds like. I would be able to help you get that planted. We could harvest that in. We could do some canning ourselves. I think we could make a go of it, but it's going to be hard work, and we're going to have to clear out those things. When we got out of there were a lot of people around, so that could be quite some work. We'd have to do it quick, though, because the growing season isn't long up here. So as soon as the snow melts, we need to be there and doing it, and that's sort of the plan she's laid out. Anthony probably agrees, but has a different structure to the plans. Well, we definitely need to take over this building first, and then this building, and then this building. But you all know nobody's been over to that side of town. So he's planning based on maps and information that's a year and a half, 2 years out of date with no real scouting. Melissa seems fairly indifferent. Should definitely put in some work, but really doesn't want to be doing any fighting. Bobby's game, and Robert's like, yeah, I could do that, no problem. So Charlie, your brother's all in on doing something, doing anything. He can handle this. Tabitha, Charlie, Red, Jude, what are you all thinking?
Probably Tabitha's first instinct is she trusts Abby's judgment, and with like knowing like the area and honestly just having more information than in general than Anthony, it couldn't hurt to check out the buildings, but on like Abby just has more or has better information, it sounds like. So she'd be all in for Abby's plan.
Jude would say that they have a map. Find 2 spots that we could. Pretty much, he's saying, how far can we walk in a day? We're gonna go here or here. This is our area. You know, we don't have always have like a fallback plan, but we have to move forward and get to this farm. He wants to go do the farm thing. Get a set location where we could get some food going.
And just as I realized I didn't give you much in the terms of scale. Where you are is about 1.5 miles straight line to the inside of town. Following the roads, it's about 2 miles. Going towards town, it's downhill. Going up towards you all, it's uphill. So you're probably an hour's walk with good calves down to the center of town, and it would be an hour's walk the other side on a nice day. In the snow that's outside right now, it would be almost impossible for at least another week or two, and you'd need a good warm day to thaw it down. So you're planning for a week or two out. You get a little bit of time before that comes to pass.
Okay. And as far as just the distance to that farm that she was talking about?
Back up the other side, heading towards Wild Work Farm, right there.
Okay. So it's not incredibly... Got it.
Yep. No, it's not very far away until you take into the fact that that's down a mountain and then up a bit of a hill the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And in the middle, the town itself, that's where all of those things are.
And then I feel like you might have mentioned this, but I don't know if I totally got it. But it does. Oh wait. Okay, sorry. I was gonna say, what about this Mason Young Road here? Well, I guess there is if you were to go down this main road and then cut around the side of the mountain here, you could bypass the town, which is where I imagine most of the danger would be.
Yes, that is definitely the more heavily populated area down in the center of town. So that's where last year that's where you were doing your raiding, but you would have been you were careful enough that you made it through. But that brings up a question. What is your style? What was the party doing? Are you were you rolling down there, motorcycle, car, loading it up? What was the style that you've used in the past?
I
There's
guess
no
that's
wrong
when
answer.
we start
You can invent
talking
anything you want. Y'all live
I guess
through
that's
it.
when we start talking maybe about our skills and what we're good at, and then maybe could we maybe take a moment to kind of find out what everyone's good at as far as skills. All right, so Jude, so far I have him. He's an excellent in ranged combat. His mobility is pretty quick. He has some good stealth, strength. He's above average. Empathy and wits are below average.
I'd say when it comes to... Go ahead.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
I'd say when it comes to strategy of going things, Charlie's a very head-on individual. He's not afraid to be riding down into a town with a motorcycle and taking on a small group of walkers. He is very physically fit. He's shown some proficiency in marksmanship and very physical individual, but he is not great to talk with.
Okay.
Gonna be fun.
Tabitha, despite being a homemaker, is surprisingly strong and well equipped. her main thing is like she can endure a lot. I'd say that her strength is basically like her strength and being able to kind of take the hits. And she's relatively average across the rest of the board. I put her scout as fairly high to kind of suggest being like familiar with the area, maybe. But with not knowing where her kids are, her empathy is kind of that took a hit on her empathy, so she's kind of all muscle and just kind of her head's out of the game.
Okay. So based on the skill sets that I'm hearing here and some of the relationships you've built out, I would say while you would accompany the others in the group on a run in a reasonable situation, when it came to be who would you grab when you grabbed your bug out bag, Charlie, you'd bring your brother if it was time to leave, but I'm not sure you'd bring him if it was time to do a run.
He's staying in camp. He ain't leaving.
Right. And I think a lot of you kind of, you respect Abigail, so you want to protect her, keep her back. Anthony, there's a little bit of combativeness, so you're like, okay, you know what? We'll listen to your plan, but when we go to execute the plan, maybe you stay here and think about it. Bobby, not your brother. I think maybe Jude sees him a little too much as a liability, so why don't you stay back and protect everybody else? And Melissa definitely doesn't want to be involved in any of this. So I think this is kind of how you ended up being a little bit your own group within the group. And as you're starting to think back, part of the things that you asked about is, buildings that you could move to. And one of the skills that helps with that is survival. Survival allows you, one of the ways you can use it is to remember what the world was like 2 years ago, where things are likely to be. The way rolls work in this, you're going to roll your survival skill. You're going to include your wits. One person in the party rolls for the party. If you fail, there is no retrying it for that. It would have to be retrying something else. If you wish to help one another, as long as you can think of a reasonable way to say you can help, you can add an extra 2 dice for getting the assist in there if you have that. Do we have a volunteer to take the role of rolling the survival check? And would anyone have anything they can do to help with that? Resources, skills, etc.
I have a survival of 4. 3 wits, 1 survival skill.
What do you have?
Sorry.
I have 2 survival, 3 wits.
Okay. So you might be.
I think you might be.
Uh-huh.
And I'd say I could help by saying, well, I remember when I came into town on my motorcycle, I may have saw this on the way through. I think it was named something like, and then we'll see. We can piece it together from there.
Okay. So
I
we
would
got
grab
a
the
little
map
local
from Anthony.
knowledge. We got a little, have been doing some scouting. Red, go ahead, open up the sheet, click on the survival, and it should be able to let you roll the dice. All right. Of the 5 Ds that you rolled, 1 did come up with a 6 on the D. That gives you 1 success. That means you were able to remember. So Anthony's maps that you reviewed were accurate enough. What Abigail had given you as the layout definitely would work, and you've identified a couple of structures and places in there. Would there be anything in particular that you would want to find as far as the spots to be identified? Were you looking for places that might have supplies, equipment of a certain type? Were you looking for defensible locations? What are you thinking that you want to find?
We're gonna be headed out. So pretty much what Jude is thinking is items for defense and food to get them to where they need to be.
Okay. So in town, y'all remember the grocery store. But along with the grocery store, a little less known is the farm market, which is a bit north of the grocery store itself. Abigail would have let you know that, yeah, they would have had preserves and that sort of thing. They would have been set aside. It's not as obvious. It's just kind of a, a wood-fronted store when it's closed up. It's not, obvious that it's there. And yes, on one of your scouting missions as you were driving past, you remember that did not look rated. It looked fairly intact, but it wasn't on the priority list right there. Other goods certainly could stop in the hardware store, but that really wasn't calling out to you. No, no one that you know of visited the outdoor sports store, though. There is a place probably going to have bows, arrows, etc. Might have some guns, might have some arrows, hunting things. I don't think anybody managed to get there. That's fairly close to the center of town, so it might have been a little bit more of a risk than anybody was willing to take last year. Those you
Would
could.
the
Good.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just curious for the outdoor sporting
Mhm.
store. Is that like what it only works in, or I feel like this area would there be like a camping store where people like they might offer like what's it like water like purification stuff or like just like general like navigational
That
things.
that would be the one here. This place isn't big enough to really have competition in it. So
Yeah,
right
I
in
had a feeling.
so you've got the main grocery store down here. That's where you had been doing most of your raiding. That's where you got all your canned goods from. It was
Mhm,
risky but worth it to get the actual canned goods. A little
mhm,
bit further up here, you've got the outdoor store, and then up here you've got the farmers market. So they're all just off of 73, but they're keeping you north of town itself.
mhm.
And if you were to come down and like you'd outlined, come down, come up along the outside road, stay north of the mountain here, it would just be a short detour south on 73 to get to those spaces. Once you're there, up across a bridge and up a little bit, that's the farm that Abigail's talking about up there.
Mhm.
And you've identified a couple of places there where you could, make a defense if something went wrong and you had to run, but you don't have any current information about up here. You don't have any indication whether those places are empty or not. You just know that they were stout buildings, designed to handle winter. They've got a second floor, but they could be occupied.
Gotcha.
Okay. All right. Now, the other thing that's going on as we're laying this plans out is you do have neighbors. So up a little bit further on the road there, we'll put them on Raccoon Ridge Way up here. So a little bit further outside of town, a little bit higher north. They hold up in a house, a cabin that had a solar panel on it and a generator. They were a family of 5, and you saw them in town gathering things up. As winter was closing in, you saw them maybe passing on the road. Not a close relationship. Everybody got a little bit insular as the time wore on and things got a little bit messy. But did you do anything that I should know about? You can invent anything you want. Was it friendly? Was it competitive? Was it outright vicious? They're up there maybe another half a mile along the trail, but up towards the top where they get a bit more uh, sunshine.
Mm. Tabitha would have no reason to be vicious with them, and I can't think. The only thing I could think of like would maybe why she would want to go up there is for like maybe early on to see if they can get some use of the generator to get like information on what's going on
Mhm.
in the world, but other than that I can't think of anything else.
Okay, that's fair. Uh, so that sounds like something. Let's see how well that conversation went. And let's call that a manipulation. A manipulation is when you want to talk one person into doing a thing. And I'm going to say during one of the times you passed, you said, hey, could we share some information? Maybe exchanged radios, something like that.
Mhm.
So Tabitha, if you could give me a manipulation roll.
Okay.
One success. All
Uh,
right. So
Well,
there were.
no, I don't think it rolled. Or if it
Oh,
did, it didn't pop.
oh
I
no,
don't think I
sorry, I
hit the
saw the
button.
wrong one. Two
There we go.
successes, even better than one.
Wait. 2D. What's the?
Oh, you've got stress turned on. Check your
Oh,
stress.
Oh,
Did you give
no.
yourself some stress?
Oh,
I don't think so.
Very bottom right hand corner.
gotta
Very,
my
Too much,
phone.
too much
Oh.
very.
pressure.
Ah.
Where's my?
Living with us is so stressful.
I need to play
We
some
haven't got to
Snake
talk
on my
yet.
phone.
It's so serious, and then we start talking, and it's like,
For some reason, I had stress on for
Okay.
whatever reason, but apparently it didn't matter. I did all right.
All right, so maybe on that particular day you were having a stressed out day, but it worked out for you. Two successes came through. You did not mess up, and yeah, they decided, all right, we're not going to really share resources with you, but what we'll do is on this day of the week, turn on your radio. We'll give you an update if we know anything. We'll talk for a few minutes, and we'll turn it back off. And throughout the winter, they were checking in, and it was basically nobody's broadcasting, we haven't heard anything. Nobody's broadcasting, we haven't heard anything. And the same messages are kind of on a loop on some of the emergency channels, giving the recommendation to stay indoors, shelter in place, but those haven't been updated in a year and a half now. And even some of those
Gotcha.
have now gone offline as their backup systems have. About 2 weeks ago, when they were supposed to check in, they didn't. Radio silence.
Mm,
This week,
okay.
when you're supposed to check in, radio silence.
That would probably worry her because she has a soft, like, just in general, soft spot for kids. So knowing
Sure.
that they are like a family, it might kind of make her. It would probably make her uneasy.
Yep, and I'd say they're probably mom and dad were low 30s, kids were 12 to 14, like 12, 13, 14.
Uh huh.
And nope, did it wrong. Yeah, high 30s and 12, 13, 14.
Yeah.
And they were vacationing, well-to-do family. They were up in town. Things went crazy. They came down. Kids stayed up, and but it's been 2 weeks now. Haven't heard a thing.
Mm.
Now they're only a half a mile away, so that's a place you could certainly get to with a day's kind of slogging through the snow. Not a day's.
Tabitha might.
2-3 hours.
Yeah. Tabitha might throw that out as an option. Kind of saying it as for like a welfare check. But on the offhand, because 2 weeks, 1 week, okay, but 2 weeks, like something probably happened up there, and if not just like for a wellness check, then maybe they got some stuff they can use. So that's relatively close.
I mean, that's, yeah.
Of course she's worried about, the people, but always in the back of your mind, you're
When you
like,
said that, yeah, I think maybe Jude would kind of be like, okay, here we go. Like, we're going to go and help these poor people. And then you said, and they have things that we could use if they're dead. And he's like, yeah,
go on.
I might definitely want to check that out. Yeah.
At least if we go up there, we have and they're okay, we could be like, this was just a wellness check. Don't start any conflict, but if something happened up there, then
I think my more concern is if it is something that's not of the dead that's got them. If they are, well, dead at all, perhaps we could have some company that's not in good faith.
yeah, and there's not really, and we're like in the mountain too, so there's really no way to see if anyone passes by. Like,
So if anybody had passed by on the road, there could be tracks, but you'd need to go out and look for them, which means going out
Right.
from
Yeah.
your immediate vicinity, heading out to the road that goes past, and
Mhm.
looking to see if there's any broken snow, etc. Is anybody doing that thing?
Say
What
be a
would we
good
be?
bets to do.
What would we be using for it?
That is going to be survival.
I have a grand total of 4. I forget who was the good survival one, but
Now as a you may wish to have a combo on this one. Scouting will give you the immediate situation around, so basically as you're heading to the road to make sure there's no danger immediately there. Survival will give you this many people passed this many hours ago kind of tracking. So scouting is awareness of your area, survival is more of a hunting, tracking sort of situation.
okay.
And stealth might
For
get you there without being noticed.
ooh. In regards to out of those options,
Mhm.
scout would be my highest with a grand total of 5 between wits and scouting. So 3 wits, 2 scout for 5.
Out of all those options, stealth would be my highest with 5.
Okay.
Anyone have a survival that's good? Or no? I have 4, if not.
Survival for me is 5. Scouting would be 5 also.
Ooh.
Okay.
I'm not that
Jude?
very good in scouting or survival. Agility and stealth with mobility is more my option. Is my forte.
Sure. So what I would say is you're probably keeping the snow reasonably in check around the house, doing a little bit of shoveling. So you've got maybe 2-3 inches of snow on the grass around your facility that you're keeping clear. You then got a mound that you've sort of built up as a bit of a bulwark, so that's maybe 2.5-3 feet high. And then the regular snow itself is probably about 8 to 10 inches on the road, less near the trees, uh, you know, drifting in certain places. So it's, stepping in snow up to your knee, up to your thigh as you're walking along. Can I get the stealth as you attempt to get near to the road without leaving obvious tracks saying, our house is this way, or causing, snowfalls off the trees?
Casey, just before we get too far away
Yeah,
from it, in relation to the prompt, like relationship with the family, I
yeah.
would say that Red kind of very passively and indirectly would communicate with them by when they would go into the town and do scouting things. He would maybe like carve into a door like how many walkers are in this room, or I've already, they not really coordinating like who's going to take what, but if he had gone and him and Jude had gone into a building and raided everything, he'd mark the building like don't like we've taken everything from here or whatever, like just little kind of respectful messages but not necessarily overly helpful.
Okay. Now, would you have tried to work out some sort of cipher or code that it would be just they would know what it means, or is this that you're, dead inside, in big letters? Is it more for them specifically or for anyone?
It's probably for them specifically, although like it's not necessarily like a worked out system.
Mhm.
It's not literally spelling things out, but just over time they would have gathered what my symbology means, and we've adapted kind of the same communication pattern.
Sure.
So probably like someone else could figure it out. It wouldn't be like too hard to figure out, but
Yeah. You know what then? Give me a quick leadership roll. Basically, as you are making a good impression on their group by taking these efforts. So maybe it's a little too arcane, or they're just not into the help. They don't quite trust you enough that when you say cleared out, when you go past maybe a day later, the door would have been opened and they would have checked for themselves that you weren't storing stuff there. It's nothing terrible, but it didn't make as much of a nice impression as you might want there. Anyone else have done anything for the neighbors?
Didn't kill him.
Didn't kill him. Good. That helped. Really improved their attitude. So then, if we can see the stealth, the survival, and the scout rolls, please.
As far as stealth, I am at a 6.
It's me.
I think
Okay.
stealth. I have a 8.
Oh crap! Yeah, you're definitely going out with.
You want me to do that one?
Jin.
You got it.
Do you want one of us to do?
Yeah, one
Each
to do
of these
each.
rolls?
Yep, one to do each.
Okay, I'll take the stealth.
I will take the scout.
All right.
Whoops, this button. Roll.
Stealth is doing well. Scout is doing well. So stealthing, you're making your way through. You're able to see that you're not breaking snow, leaving an obvious track. You're taking a little bit of a roundabout way to get back to the road, so that if anybody did try to follow it, you skipped across some rocks, that sort of stuff. The scouting, no walkers in the area that you're detecting, nothing active. There's a few animals about, so you do see some deer tracks that have broken out, the snow. You see some squirrels and such that have skittered across, but no big slogging footsteps.
Gotcha.
And then our survival, if we could have a survival.
What do you got? What are you looking at?
4.
You're better than I am. Go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead, Chucky. What do you got?
Nothing.
Yeah, so you've definitely seen deer, you've definitely seen squirrels, but you're pretty sure nothing's gone up and down this roadway. But you're making your way. You don't see any signs of where they've been traveling. You don't actually see any signs of where they've been maybe coming out from their house to kind of do the perimeter. They did something similar. They're keeping the snow low near their area, higher further out. You kind of checking down the way there. So you don't think anybody's approached or left the house in the last couple of weeks. But if they're as good as Red was, you wouldn't notice. And you kind of look back and you're like, yeah, I wouldn't notice that we did that either.
Well, I guess the question is, what kind of greeting are we going to give them? Are we going to bust down their door or give a polite knock?
Well, it seems we had a bit of, I guess you could call it, acceptance of each other. I would say that we would be, I say we go up cautious. We could even make some noise, see if there's anything in there, like we normally do. We treat it as walkers first.
I mean, it's cold out. If they're still okay, they're still there. We'll probably see smoke.
Yeah.
You definitely should, but you definitely don't.
Hmm. I think the fact that there's no smoke, Tabitha would go for a more, cautious approach. Maybe if they're gonna knock, we position ourselves just in case.
All right. So let's go ahead and flip over here. Y'all should be heading towards a house. Now, this house is shown in a lovely spring weather. This is instead quite snowy. What you can see of the house is about 8 to 10 inches of snow near to the house. So it's been probably 2-3 weeks since anybody's come out and done their shoveling. A little further back, you got the similar bulwark to what you had, so they had been throwing the snow to kind of build up a little defensive perimeter. You have to hop over that to get up to the house itself. There's a front porch that leads to the main door. The windows look like somebody has screwed plywood over most of the lower parts of the windows. They left about a foot slit up towards the top on the outside. So there is a little bit of a glass about 5.5 feet off the ground, 6 feet off the ground that you could see into. The upper windows are uncovered, but it looks like they may have pressed some blankets or mattresses or something up to those windows on the inside to kind of keep the chill out. The house has a second floor in the middle that you can see. There's some dormers up there. And then off to the right is a garage. You can see the drive would have led up in two big garage doors. The garage doors are currently closed. No vehicle tracks nearby. There's a big pile of wood off to the side. Some of it's been split. You have a similar arrangement. And that's what you can see from the front of the house. It's on a fairly steep hill, so you'd have to kind of brave the treacherous ground to get around and see what's in the back if you wanted to.
Is there any sign of forced entry through any of the windows or the doors?
Excellent question. How about we do a little bit of scouting to get you that?
I mean, I did ask the question, right?
Uh-huh.
Can I go with him?
Sure.
Here we go.
Believe in you.
I got one!
You got one.
Yes!
All right. No sign of forced entry. So the door appears to be shut. There is a kind of a big chunk of plywood that looks like it could be secured on the door fairly quickly, but that is off to the side. Not like it was torn off. Looks like it just was not put on.
Ed, what did you bring for today?
I'm sorry. What was that?
What did you bring?
Got my machetes. Do you want one? I've got two.
He looks at a shotgun, looks at the machete, shrugs, and will grab one if presented. This is a little more better in my hands. How are you with a gun?
I'm all right. But were you thinking about going in there?
Well, it seems that they either didn't leave, or they either left without a trace, or they're still inside.
Don't know. Gun, loud noises. I don't know. We don't know how many walkers might be up here in these hills. I mean, I know it's still pretty cold, but I don't know.
Machetes it is then. Let's go check with the others. Let them know. Hello, others.
Hey,
Hello, other.
tell me something good, Red.
Well, it seems like no one's busted anything down, so the house is still intact in some sense.
Suppose that's good.
So how are we going about this? Obviously, I don't want to sit here in the cold any longer. We're gonna go do the old knock and listen, see if there's anything around. We know how walkers act, right? They'll come to sound.
I think that's wise.
And then we have to agree whether or not whatever's worth. I mean, you've been in there. There. Tabby. What's worth getting in there, huh?
I'm gonna defer to DM for this. Would they have let her in?
Probably would not have let you into the house, but you would have seen them, as they were going back and forth. They were doing the same thing. You were canned goods, that sort of thing. On the house roof itself, you can see there are solar panels set up, so they do have some form of electricity generation in there. But
Mhm.
beyond that, probably not sure. You know, they do have a vehicle. A vehicle was moving up and down, and early on, they were going around on a snowmobile, but they
Mhm.
stopped doing that after they, caught on to how walkers react to noise.
Mhm. Um, you mentioned a vehicle. Is the vehicle there or no?
Garage is closed. You do not see the vehicle. It
Oh,
was
okay. Oh,
a
that's
it
right. It
was
has a
a
garage.
it was a big old station wagon. Room for 3 kids and the dog.
Mhm. Dog. We have to get in there. um,
Dog is dead. Dog's dead. I would have ate it.
that's cold.
It is cold, so what the hell are we doing?
uh, God. Um,
I guess point of entry is the next question.
You mentioned that there was plywood off of a door in the back.
So the front door has what looks like a piece of plywood they could put up if they wanted to kind of reinforce the front door, but that's not been put on. The
Gotcha.
windows have plywood up to just about the top, so there's just a little bit of
Mhm.
space you can see out the windows. I don't think anyone's gone around back yet.
Oh, okay. Uh, shall we check the back first before we dive in?
Yeah. Let's do that.
Okay.
You make your way around the back, and as you do so, you can see that this is kind of where the mountain slope heads away, and would give a very nice view out there. There's a porch area, stone floor, big fireplace for kind of outdoor cooking out there. There's a angled bit where you would have an entrance to the home, and that's plywooded over, but it looks like it's split so that that door could still open close, but it's probably a big glass door behind it, so the plywood's been secured up there to take care of it. Another set of doors that looks like it would be, the view from the master bedroom. Again, big glass doors, but plywood over it. And then around the side, a fairly steep decline there. The floor is the windows there are a good 10 foot off the ground as it kind of slopes down and away. You can see the foundation, then some stonework, and then the wood above it. That window is not covered in plywood. There's just got some sort of heavy curtain or cover's been hung up there to keep the chill out.
Uh, you know, I, I could go through the front, maybe just by myself. I mean, Jude, like like I could get in there. I could be real quiet, just kind of see what we're dealing with.
Yeah. Yeah. You're quieter than I could be. So, I mean, you could take a look. I'm gonna stay at the door. You know how it goes. I stay at the door. One of you keep an eye behind us. Other one stay by the door as well. If we hear anything, we go in there to get our man out. All right, Charlie.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Here we go.
Now, Red, looking at this door, this is, a vacation home. It's got a lock on it, but it's nothing super fancy. If that door is locked, we would need a stealth check to get it open, or some force applied. That certainly would be noisy. What are you thinking to get the door open?
Yeah, if I think I could, like, kind of very surgically, kind of like either insert a tool or something there, just to kind of.
Funny you mentioned that. You might want to use these. Consider it as a trade for the machete. It hands you a set of lockpicks.
Ooh.
Don't ask how I got it.
You got it.
Yeah.
Charlie turns over a nice set of lockpicks. This is professional grade. So with the lockpicks, I believe that gives a +2 to the stealth check.
Yep.
So Red, if you could go ahead and give us a stealth check with a +2 on the die, or +2 Dice. And that is one success out of the 10, but one is enough. It takes a little bit of fiddling, but eventually you get the click. You haven't made any real noise. You're able to go ahead and turn that and push the door just a little bit so you can peek in. And even as just the door's creaking open, you can see a tacky red-black stain on the floor. And you kind of pause there for a moment. There's a lot of blood. Red, please take a point of stress as you realize there are walkers about. As you pause there for a second, you're going to continue opening that door. What are we doing?
I just look back at the group, look down at the stain, and kind of gesture to be quiet. And then I'm going to go in alone and try to just scout it out quick.
You got it. As you're going to be making that move in, I will need a stealth check from you to get in the door without alerting anything that might be in there.
And I've got a talent that gives me a +2 to stealth when I'm on my own.
Absolutely may.
Can I ask what the threat meter is?
Sure, the threat meter is gone from 0 to 1. 0, you were in a cleared area and safe for now. 1, there are walkers around, but they have not noticed you yet. You might suffer
okay.
a single walker attack if you mess up a skill test.
Oh.
But no skill test messed up here. You're able to get the door open. As you push it back, there's a draft excluder, one of those, big snakes filled with rice pressed up against it. As you push it back, it's basically making a mound of partially frozen and flaky blood that you're kind of pushing back, leaving a big streak there. You get it open enough that you can kind of peek your head inside, and the downstairs area is a shambles. Something has been moving about in here, knocking things over, causing a problem. Get back to my buttons here. Get this part out of the way. So if you look a little bit to the north there, you can see the porch that you were on. You've just come in there. You're in a bit of a foyer. There's a set of stairs going up a little to your left. There's a dining room off to your right, and the family room and kitchen ahead and to the right. You can see into the bedroom to the left, and you know that bending around there's a bedroom to the south left. The bathroom door is currently closed, but there is footprints of blood kind of everywhere. Whatever happened in here was messy and then tracked all over the place. It looks as though the footprints were of bare or socked feet. They're not shoe prints, they're feet. They look unpleasantly small.
Does any of this go up to the second level?
Second level, these stairs right here. I'm clicking and you're not seeing anything. These stairs right here.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Are there like bloody marks that lead up to the second?
There are no bloody marks leading to the second floor. The stairs look clean.
I think I'll pop back out and let the group know that it seems that there's at least one tiny walker somewhere on the first floor.
Mm-hmm.
But the tracks don't lead up to the second floor, so that it's probably still on the first floor.
And Tabitha, I think you at least would take a point of stress from hearing that. Charlie, Jude, would you take a point of stress at this point?
I'd say not until I see it.
Okay.
I don't take stress when seeing acts of violence or committing them myself.
Okay. So Charlie, it's just a mental image so far, but maybe once you're in there. The door's been closed again. No disturbances that you're aware of inside.
I'd say with the report that Red came back, he would stow the shotgun along his back and draw the machete that he was given.
I ready my shovel.
Good. You have a shovel that's a bit. Hmm.
For snow and for skulls.
I'll tell you what, Red, you can keep those lockpicks if I can keep this.
Okay.
Very done.
Uh,
Now the worst is yet to come.
So what are you guys thinking? We're here.
yeah, we're gonna. I mean, we could try to go one at a time. What do you think?
Noise? Or do we want to not alert
I'm
other
not gonna.
potential threats upstairs if they are there?
I'm not gonna try to shoot.
Because we know there should be at least 5. Or at one point there was 5 people in here.
Mm-hmm.
So probably best not to draw too much. Unless we're feeling really confident. Unless would it be better to do a bottleneck? But then we risk if there's anything just in the woods in general. I didn't see anything coming up, but doesn't mean it's not there.
Hey, Red, you see anything worth anything right down there?
I mean, it was just the foyer. I mean, I would think anything that we would want to take is probably either in the kitchen or maybe
Garage.
in that garage there.
Yeah.
Is there a door that leads to the like an external door that could be accessed from outside?
We'll say yes.
I mean, maybe we check that out. I mean, it's getting to the end of winter. Like, they were probably running low on supplies. How long ago was the last time that we heard from them? A couple weeks ago?
About 2 weeks back.
I don't know. Maybe we have to think about what level of risk we want to take trying to clear out this family if they have turned. Maybe we can get some fuel or gasoline and call it.
Well, we won't know until we get inside. And like you'll see him ready to enter like the front door.
I think Red probably was getting ready to maybe go and check out the garage door, but
Okay.
upon
Yeah.
seeing that Charlie wants to enter the front, he would just like put the lockpicks away and like grab the machete and kind of stand a few feet behind him.
Okay. Charlie,
Ready
are
to
you going
follow
in
his lead.
quiet or going in loud?
We'll go quiet first.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a stealth check. Five dices, 1 success. You're able to open the door. You do so quietly. You take a look around. You see those bloody footprints all over the place. If that would stress you out, please take a point of stress. If you feel you had enough warning, you can leave it off for now. But there are definitely young walkers in about the area. Taking a look around, you're in the foyer. You can see the dining room, the family room. You can see the bedroom door open. There's another bedroom door kind of around a bend there. Stairs leading up. The stairs leading up, no bloody footprints on those. Bathroom door off to the left is closed. Where are you
I'd
headed for
say
dinner?
he will check out the dining room first.
Sure. As you move into the dining room, you can see a bit more going on there. You can see the two bay windows to the south are still closed up. You can see the kitchen itself. The footprints lead all over down there. There's too many layered on top of one another to figure out where they might be coming from or going to. There's a hallway that must connect down to the garage on the south side. Dining room's got a big dining room table. Looks like they, were not in the middle of a meal or anything like that. No plates out, nothing of that nature. The kitchen is laid out. It's very cold in here. It's the same temperature as it is outside, so you can see frost in places. Fireplace in the middle of the family room up here. It's got a fair sized number of logs beside it, but the fire has been out for quite some time.
He's gonna like check underneath the table, make sure nothing's hiding under there. He's gonna jump out and bite him in the ankle or something, making sure that area's secure.
Looks secure.
And then would just continue proceeding into the larger room where he has room to move. And I guess what everyone else is doing.
Sure. As you head towards, I think you said the family room, kind of up here, what you're going to see there is that the door to the master bedroom up here is also closed. The kitchen looks open, island there. Doors out to the porch right there are closed, and doors out to the mini porch right there also closed.
I would say as like he sees like kind of this little kitchen island right here,
Mhm.
not seeing anything immediately. Like he'll check the stairs, nothing's seen there yet. Like he'll start rounding the corner here, and just like machete ready to come down something, like peek around the island.
As you kind of move around the island, you can see there are a couple of the doors for the kitchen cabinets are ajar enough that you can see inside. There are some cans and bottles of water there. There's several bottles of water set out on the back of the counter, so it looks like they were keeping some form of water going there. But no walkers at the moment. And as you're sort of easing your way around there, you're still being very, very quiet, haven't made any real noise. Anybody out by the doorway doing anything?
I think as he moves in, I would say maybe Jude kind of maybe goes like halfway, kind of like make that like life chain kind of thing, where he's gonna just keep an eye on him as he and kind of pretty much keeping egress, keep that like egress clear of the front door so we could leave if we need to.
Sounds good.
Red's
As you're-
just following like right behind him.
Yep. So
Tabitha definitely would have hesitated, but would eventually follow the group and sneak in.
all right, you're all kind of easing in from that front door. Charlie's, only 15, 20 feet away. It's not that big a house, but seems like a long distance now.
And you said there were cans in the drawers.
Yes, so there
Oh,
are
like
cans in the
cabinets?
cabinets where the kitchen is. It looks like this is where they were keeping most of the food in the kitchen.
Now it's getting him thinking a little bit of if they didn't starve, which is what his first impression was, that they starved themselves out and they didn't run out of water. Someone got sick, is all he can think of right now, possibly. And then we'll continue sweeping the kitchen, and then pause by this side door here. Wait for the others.
Sure.
Following the life chain.
Following the life chain. And as you follow the life chain, you can see that leads into a small pantry, kind of a utility hallway. big mud room, kind of, put your boots, put your skis there, and then a door that would most likely lead to the garage. Footprints lead right up to that door. There's a lot of footprints around it. You don't see any that are like halfway through, so it doesn't look like it had walked through the door and then the door closed. Looks like the door was closed while it was wandering about.
Where the fuck is it? I hate this. I will signal towards the group that he's about to make a noise. And say on the say the doorknob that's there. Feel like 3 little white taps with the machete. Like tap, 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 like little metal ring will ring out in that chamber, see if anything pops up from where it's hiding in that room.
Sure.
If there's anything.
Give a little tap, 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 tap. And you are trying to check for anything hiding in the utility room there?
Yes. There's a lot of corners I see that I don't like.
Sure. Let's call this a manipulation, if you would.
Manipulation.
Manipulation.
Oh, empathy. I don't assume I can use my threatening posture. Oh, that's someone. Okay. Never mind. Manipulation.
Manipulation. 0 successes, but you're not stressed. So it wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a mess up. But your little tap, tap, taps, nothing appears.
Wait, solid maybe 10 seconds.
Mhm.
Nothing happens. I'll enter.
Okay. You step in there. There's a little pantry with a little tiny swinging door on it. That door's currently closed. There's the places for boots and that sort of thing, and there's all sorts of snow equipment there. Big kind of snow jumper suits, big snow boots, couple of snowshoes, some trekking skis, poles, that sort of stuff, all kind of occupying these little area here, and then the door right there. So this door is currently closed. This door is currently closed.
He'll look back towards the group again, like he's gonna do something a little risky. He'll grab
I'm gonna put my
Mhm.
hand out, and I'm gonna look to see if, before we continue, in this family room, is there at least a fire poker or something? I'm looking just for something to grab for melee.
Sure, you can pick up a fire poker.
All right,
Good old fire poker.
I'm gonna.
You go
I'm
to
gonna
grab
look
it, they
back.
just have the bristly little brush. No fire. Yep, fire poker.
No, it's the bristle. It's the brush one. Oh, that's not good.
You just get the
It's
brush.
heavy though, at least, right?
Yeah,
It's heavy.
it's got a little weight. It's cast iron.
Uh-huh.
If you want, I probably should have done this sooner, but Tabitha has a bow and arrow stowed on her person.
Oh. I'm gonna give you my pistol, and I'm gonna definitely take that.
All right, little quietly exchanging things there.
Yes.
You know what? Actually, Jude, since you were just over there, give me a quick scout, if you would.
Yikes. Here we go, guys. It's gonna be scout. No roll.
I believe in you.
If I push, I get stressed. Is that how it works?
You could push. You would take one addition. You would take a stress die, but you would get to re-roll with that stress die in the roll.
All right. I'm not gonna do that yet.
Okay. So yep, you got your bristly brush. You set that aside. You got your bow, and then
I am going to move. I'm gonna kind of signal to the rest of the group. Looking back at Red, kind of saying to keep an eye up on the stairs.
And you know what? I think I might just pull. I'm gonna pull him back. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go back and look at him, and I'm gonna kind of be like, "Come back!" Like we're not. I feel like we're too far out. I need. I'm gonna add. I'm gonna try to get Charlie come back and regroup.
Red will come back.
Charlie, do you come back?
He wants to do the thing he's doing first, and then he'll come back.
All right, so Charlie sort of looks over and then looks back at, I think, the pantry.
Machete in one hand, pantry door handle in the other.
Uh-huh.
Opens the door.
You open the door and you're like, I could chop that bag of rice so hard right now. Bags of rice, couple bags of flour, some cornmeal,
Supplies.
quick oats.
I found supplies. I will now leave the chamber.
As you gather back up,
What's wrong with you?
Are you coming back?
Son of a bitch. The hell? Gotta stick together.
Gonna do us no good if we can't see what's coming at us.
Quiet.
He's gonna
Now what? Where do you want to go?
Shh. Quiet.
I'm very
we're
quiet. Stairs?
just a question, just so that we know.
Mhm.
This area, these bedrooms and baths, have we
this
cleared
bathroom
that
is
yet?
on the wrong layer. This bathroom door is closed. This bedroom door is open. This bedroom door is open, but you cannot see into them. You've just been in the foyer, so all you would see is kind of like the little bit of the angle there. I don't believe anyone's gone down this hallway.
In the hallway, there's no door there. It's open. It's just open.
It's just open, yep. So you could walk that way, and then once you kind of turn the corner, you'd be able to see, but I don't believe anyone's told me they've head that way yet.
I think I saw Red indicating he wants to go upstairs. Charlie would give the silent nod of approval on his end.
So then Red will start to very slowly take to the stairs, try to get up there and take a peek up the landing.
Sure. And as you head towards the stairs, let's find out if they're very squeaky. If you could give me a scout check. A stealth check as you try and make your way up those stairs without making noise. So you head over there, you kind of put your foot down, you start to hear a squeak, you pause, nothing bad's happened yet, but you're not going to be able to make it upstairs quietly unless you push that roll. They're too squeaky, too cold.
Oh!
You push it and you put your foot down and there's just like that creak, and then you hear some noise.
Back up. Back up.
So, everyone please take, except for Red, 1 point of stress as the zombies are alerted. Walkers, excuse me. From the southwest, the bedroom here, you can hear something shuffling in your direction. You hear a rustle of cloth, chink, chink, chink of metal, as if it was standing behind curtains and is now turning to walk towards you. You hear a thump from the bathroom door here, and another thump. From the master bedroom, you hear some noise and thumps in that direction. But the only one that seems to be open to approach you that you've detected so far is this one to the southwest. Right now, I believe, Red, you're kind of over here near the stairs. Everybody else is fairly close to the foyer dining room area. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. Things are about to start happening. We're going to be heading into a little bit of a mini combat, in which case we will be stepping through what's going to be happening. The walker is going to be trying to close the distance and bite you. Since there's only one of that at the moment, we'll handle it as if it were a duel. So you'll all get to be declaring what you're doing. It is coming out of the bedroom here. You are all right about here. It has to cross the distance to reach you. That'll take it one round effectively to close. And then it will be close enough that it can start trying to maul you. In the meanwhile, in other areas, things have started to move. As it heads in
All
that
right.
direction on that first round, what is everybody doing?
Question.
Mhm.
We've dealt with at least a few walkers in the past.
I believe you.
Okay. So, would I be confident in my. Okay, I'm just going to do mechanically just so that I could kind of understand.
Mhm.
Like, do we stand and fight or do we move back? Say that I have a. I'm going to like be roll. If I decide to do a bow attack, it says a bonus 2 damage one, so that means that I add 2 additional die to attack, correct?
Mhm.
And each success is 1 point of damage.
Yes.
Would I have in the past been able to take a walker down with one shot?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I think
Okay.
Red would maintain the high ground on the stairs, machete up, and
Mhm.
would just like be, I don't know, halfway up the stairwell. Just if it comes up, try to take a swing downward at him.
Sounds good.
I think. Sorry if this doesn't work well mechanically.
We're all
I
figuring
still
it
don't
out.
know the
No
mechanics.
worries.
Okay, cool. I think what Tabitha would do is she would kind of be backing up to kind of put some distance, but she would be holding like the shovel out, kind of ready to like help with like positioning
Mhm.
the walker. Because I'm sure everyone else is like getting ready to smack, but I figure she would use like the length of the shovel to kind of help with like maintaining distance and maybe like make it easier for other people to hit.
Okay, sounds good. So I think
I'm
everybody's trying to maintain distance. Is anyone rushing towards the walker or getting up close to it
no.
aside from it approaching? Okay.
I'm getting a bow. I'm gonna do a
Yep.
ranged attack.
So Jude, go ahead and give me the ranged attack.
Okay. All right, here we go. So bow. How do we do this? Okay. I have 1 stress die. Here we go.
I believe in you.
All right.
1 success.
One success. You hit the walker. It definitely feels it. You were going for the headshot. You wanted the headshot, but it just kind of,
Mhm.
took some flesh with it, but it's still moving in your direction. Everybody else is on defense at the moment, trying to keep their distance. Tabitha's backed up a little bit. Red's up on the stairs. Charlie, what were you doing?
I'd say he has enough confidence in both Jude and Tabitha to handle one.
Mhm.
Like he was moving himself towards the master bedroom in case they start breaking down the door or bust open the door somehow.
Okay.
And just waiting.
You got it. So you can hear them bonking against the door in there, but they're probably not getting through immediately. So that means we're going to move to round 2. At round 2, the walker has closed in on Jude. It's basically moving towards you. You took your shot. It didn't stop it. It is now up close enough that it could cause some bitey problems. but we get a chance to prevent that from happening by getting some attacks in. Jude, are you sticking with the bow, or are you going to switch to a melee?
I'm going bow if there's not a penalty. I'll continue with bow.
I will allow it for the moment because I haven't figured out if there's a penalty for that yet.
Okay.
Tabitha, you were close enough with the shovel. Red, you're still halfway up the stairs. Charlie, you're over to the door. So Tabitha and Jude would have actions at the moment. Jude, go ahead and give me a bow. You'd like to see some successes.
2 successes.
2 successes. That will do 3 of the damages, right? Because an extra success means an extra damage, I believe. I will double check that for ranged attacks. Tabitha, you got a shovel, I think, coming in?
I do. Okay.
Also 2 successes. So that will take care of this walker. And now that you're getting a chance to take a look at it, it's one of the children. The 11-year-old most likely has the smaller feet. It's been the one roaming around. But I don't know if that even registered as you were taking it out. Covered in blood. A little bit of damage around the mouth, so it had definitely bitten something in the past, but otherwise no damage to it. Now it's got an arrow, a shovel, and another arrow. Falls down. The banging still coming from the master bedroom door. The banging still coming from the bathroom.
Could I beckon to Red
Mhm.
and maybe just come down and join the rest? Get down here.
And he would come down.
All over. So you said that there's master bedroom,
Master bedroom and the bathroom.
bathroom. And then from upstairs, we're hearing noises as well.
No
Is
noises
that
from
what you said?
upstairs.
Okay.
Just Red on the creaky staircase.
I guess we'll go to the master bedroom then. I will stand a ways back and ready a bow. You gonna take care of this, or shall we go?
I could bust down the door, hopefully stagger them enough to give you a shot. And like you see, Machete's ready, and is like he looks like he's rearing up to do like a full-on kick at the door to see if he can push them back so they can get a little bit of a jump.
Sure.
Does it sound? I'm sorry.
Mhm.
I was just gonna say, does it sound like it's like? Would we be able at this point, a few years in, to be able to tell, or at least try to understand if there's more than one threat in the room, like banging on it?
Yeah, I think with a scouting check, you could figure that one out. And Lord
That's
Gasumba,
what-
hey, thanks for the raid. We are doing our episode 0 of The Walking Dead from Free League, so we're trying out something new. Our survivors are currently checking out a neighboring household where a family of 5 has gone quiet after 2 weeks in the cold winter weather of northern New York. One of the children has turned and has been put down, and there are noises coming from the master bedroom as well as one of the locked bathroom doors. They're trying to get supplies. Right now, we're trying to figure out how many walkers are inside that master bedroom, and somebody, I think, is leaning in, listening real close, and giving me a scout check.
I don't know if I'm leaning in, but I'm trying to hear from where I am if I hear more than one knock.
Okay.
Either way, here we go. I open my mouth.
Open your mouth.
Nothing.
Nothing. No successes, but you did not get the nasty messed up die. So you can't tell. It's just dun noise. You having trouble hearing between that and everything else. Could be one, could be several.
Red will have a machete upraised. He's just right behind Charlie, so that if he's successful in knocking it down, he might be able to get a quick swing in there.
Yeah, Tabitha would probably be readying herself as well, kind of stationed where there's an opening, ready to Schmack.
Opening, ready to schmack.
Get ready to schmack. Shovel. Psh.
Somebody opening the door?
I'll give it the boot.
Give it the boot. Go ahead and give me a... It's not called might. What's the...
Force.
Force.
Force. Yes, please. Force. You indeed give it the boot. As you give it the boot, it staggers the walkers behind. In fact, there are 3 of them. The mother, the father, and the eldest of the children in there. It is quite cold, and now that you've got a little bit of a prep time to this, you get a better look at them. They're covered in frost. You can see that the parents are covered in bites. It looks like they were on the receiving side of the attacks. The elder child almost unharmed. You can see damage around the lips and teeth when it was chewing on someone else, but no other bites or scratches on it. Looks like the parents were the victims. But now they want you to be in it, so they move towards you.
I'm gonna say seeing the kid would probably give him stress.
You got it. Stress die. And with that, if anybody happens to get to 5 stress, please let me know. But what we're going to do is move into a little bit of a brawl here. With a brawl combat, and I'm probably doing this wrong because I don't think zombies do brawl, but we'll use it to get this training session out of the way. Brawls take phases, so they're each turn you have 1 of 6 choices. You get 1 action per turn. The choices you can make are taking cover, which makes you harder to hit. Ranged combat, you shoot a ranged combat option. Close combat, you stab or club. Movement, you either move into or away from a target space. First aid, if you need to heal a friend. Or other, do something, open doors, close doors, push buttons, that sort of stuff. Minor free actions can be taken as part of your move, but it does go in order. So currently no one is in cover. If you wish to take cover, ducking behind a doorway, please let me know now. Is anyone taking cover? All right. Phase 2 is going to be ranged combat. Anybody doing ranged combat?
Yes.
All right. Jude's got ranged combat. You've got a trio of zombinos to shoot at.
Whatever's first.
You got it. I think it's probably the dad that's the first to be back on the feet.
Doesn't matter. They all gotta go down, and we gotta go. But first, we gotta shoot. Here we go.
Shoot. That is a success. 1 down. One point of damage down, I should say. Hey! That's going to bring us to close combat. Close combat, I believe Red and Charlie and Tabitha were all in for close combat.
Yes.
If we could see
Yes.
those, please.
What's the machete, Alex?
I don't know.
Is there no machete weapon?
I don't know. I don't know what the mechanic is or how it
Oop,
works.
hang
I
on,
just-
let me get over to it.
Well,
Weapon,
axe, sword,
close combat. Why is machete not on here?
Is it a sword?
Let's call machete a sword for now. It might be a knife, but we'll call it a sword. And a sword is going to be 2 damage with 2 bonus.
Good.
You got it. That pushes the dad over the top, goes down with an arrow, a shovel strike, and then a sword strike. Red, what are you up to?
I don't know. I'm gonna attack with the machete, but I don't know like
Oh, sure.
this
So
module how to do that.
at the bottom of your sheet, do you see the inventory tab?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Do you see the a sword or machete there?
I mean, I've got a machete, but I just typed in like literally.
okay.
I just typed in machete
hang on,
there.
let me drag over a machete for you real quick. Red, grab. We're just going to give you a sword. Drop that there. Inventory. Where's the equip button? There's the equip button. And so now if you go back to your general tab, you should have a sword to attack with.
Okay, gotcha.
Sorry about that. We're learning all kinds of new
Okay,
stuff
you
today.
got to roll the. You got to click the icon. Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
And it adds all that in there automatically. Okay.
Ooh.
Oh,
Ooh.
so you
Oh,
absolutely
Messed up.
devastated one of the zombies, and you messed up. So having messed up during zombie combat, I get to roll the zombie attack button.
No, don't do that.
no.
Don't do that.
Casey,
Don't do that.
Please.
Casey.
Oh,
Easy.
No,
Yeah.
don't push the button, Casey, please.
I'm so stressed.
gotta push the button. Walker attack.
I like how it's like you messed up. Double explanation point.
Bum, bum, bum.
Hit the bed there, bud.
What?
Oh, you manage to hold the child off as it leaps over the mother that you've just dropped. It drools all over your face and you start vomiting heavily. Take 1 stress point.
Oh,
I was wondering how this would work because I was like, dang, like
that's crazy, though.
what's the so is there I'm guessing there's a table, so
Oh,
if
yeah.
you hit a certain range, like
Some are very
is
bad.
like
Some are just you get drooled on and start hurling. But at this point, you stepped up, you dropped the mother, the child scrambled up right over it, just came over while you still had the machete in, got on top of you, probably holding it off, and bleh.
Gross.
All right. We're down to 1
That's nice.
zombie. I believe everybody's had their turn, so we don't have any additional actions there. We move back up. We are into our take cover phase. Is anyone taking cover? Ranged attacks. Jude's got a ranged attack. Another bow shot coming off.
Red! You okay there, buddy?
Yes.
2 success
All right.
for 1 damage each, so 2
Uh,
damage.
Red's got a little walker holding it off. Arrow hits. Doesn't take it out yet, though. We're going to need some melee attacks.
Oh,
no,
God.
Red! Red, you managed to take it out, but as it happens, something happens. What do we got? Got to bring that table back up here. Walker attack. Roll it. Ah! And it does take, it does what it says it does. You do fight the zombie to the ground. Finally kill it. But you take a point of damage and a point of stress.
oh poor Red.
Red, how many points of stress are you up to?
I'm at 4.
At 4, okay. Don't get a 5th one.
What happens at 5?
At
Or
5,
do we find out when that happens?
at 5, at the close of session, we have to roll and see if you are able to face your fears.
Your fear.
Your fears.
Oh.
Lingering impact. But for the moment, the trio of walkers that were in the master bedroom are downed. With the one that you dropped in the family room, the 3 that you've dropped here, and the one you hear banging from the bathroom, that accounts for the 5 family members that you are aware of.
Are you okay, Red?
I'm gonna be okay. Let's just get this stuff and get out of here.
Take a step back. Come here. You okay?
Yeah, I said I'm fine.
I know. Okay.
Do we take care of the last one or stick with what we got and get or take what we found so far and get out?
Is there a way that we can? Is there a piece of furniture that we could put in front of a door, like anything maybe that we
Sure.
could stack up?
Sure, dining room table, couches. It's a nice place. Are you planning on
I would.
barricading that bathroom door?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, probably what would occur to you is the best way to do it would be dining room table up against it, and then like a chair sandwiched between that and the wall. You could still clamber over it, but there's no way something's pushing that out of the way in any reasonable fashion. But what we'll need to do as you're carrying a heavy table towards a bathroom door that you definitely don't want to accidentally bang against and open is ask you for either a force or a tech roll to make the barricade complete. You just don't want to
And-
mess up.
And how does helping work in this? Because I have some force, and I'm sure to help make it easier to move the table, Tabitha would be
Sure, you
moving
get
or
2
some-
additional
yeah.
dice.
I'll help. I'll help the other side of the table.
Okay. I've done this 1,000 times. Moved
Thousands
tables.
of times.
Back at the old carnival that I used to help out when I was
Yeah,
a
and as
kid.
you're carrying this table with your back to the bathroom door where you know a 12-year-old is just scratching at the other side, and you're like,
All right.
wasn't there a dog? And then you just hear the 12-year-old scratching at the other side.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
There was a dog.
Uh-huh.
Are there walker dogs in this thing?
No, there are no walker dogs.
Okay.
Wasn't a 12-year-old though. It sounds like it's trying to.
You just
It
hear
sounds
like
like it's
scritch,
like-
scritch,
it's
scritch,
low?
scritch, scritch coming from the
Is it
door.
high or low?
It's probably at 12-year-old level.
Oh. Okay. We'll look later. We don't know if this is a dog or not. Either way. So how do I add an additional? Oh, I put the number down.
Is there?
So +2. Okay.
+2. Yep.
Oh yeah, there is a add bonus dice. That's cool.
Mhm.
Yep.
1 success.
Yeah. So you manage to get it in there. You get the table propped up. You don't accidentally hit the, little twisty knob and open the door by accident. Get the couch in play. That's now pretty well locked. Quick, say something in dog. I love you.
Oh, you have to open it.
Yeah.
Fred's gonna be over by the pantry, just like putting stuff in his backpack.
You got a
Food,
nap. You got a
cans.
backpack. Your cans. There's a fair bit here. They probably, you would guess based on what's here, they loaded up about as much food as you did, but you've had 10 people eating the food. They had 5.
Definitely would probably once the barricading is done, she'd probably go in as well to help start collecting things.
Mhm.
Oh,
Now
they got
on-
rice.
On one trip back, you're going to be able to basically carry as much as you can carry. So, it's one good shopping trip each of you. Probably adds a week to the supply that you have. 2 or 3 trips back and forth, you can clear the place out.
Question.
Mhm.
This is a family house.
Mhm.
Do they got sleds?
Fancy thing you say that. I'm about to check the garage is what I was gonna say.
Sure.
Because I heard a rumor of a snowmobile being somewhere around.
Creak. Open. You open the garage inside. You can see there's actually 2 snowmobiles. There are several of the big kind of inflatable tubes that you would pull behind with the kids in it, blah, 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 around.
Mhm.
There are some sleds. There are some snowboards. Brain just shut down on me there. And then there's the nice big station wagon there. So the kind of pull behind sled flat ones, not so much, but the big inner tubey things, oh yeah, you could load one of those up.
Sweet. Cool.
As far as damage is concerned, how long does it take? Like, how would I heal
my friend, I have a little bit in medicine. Say I was worried about Red. Is there a way that I can like bandage him up, or how does that work?
So you did not take any critical injuries, so you will recover hit points one each day so long as you have food, which you do have. So the medical equipment is for more critical injuries. You'll definitely you want to get a little antiseptic on that, but no additional items required.
Okay.
I
So he
wasn't
has to
bit.
be
I wasn't bit.
all right. He has to be broken in order to heal him.
Right? Yeah.
Okay.
Broken
Got it.
or critical aid or anything of those that set.
Got it.
Just
You're
the
fine.
sooner we
Yep.
can get out of here, the better.
Any weapons down here? I know that we were looking at food. Anything as far as weapons that these people had?
You didn't see any obvious weapons sitting out, but I think a little bit of scrounging may help you find that. And for some scrounging, let's do.
Could I ask someone to do it for me before I? Could I maybe have mentioned like anyone see any weapons or anything? Otherwise, I will do it myself.
It's survival or scout.
I believe it is Scout.
I'll take a look.
I have a 5. I can help out with that and looking around.
Sure. Come back here, rollable table.
Oh, I'm sorry. Alex, did you say you were rolling or?
I can. It
Okay.
doesn't matter. It's the same. It's 5.
Okay. If you do, then you can add 2 as a if
I
I'm
will
helping you
say
out.
it does, just as a heads up, it does matter if you're stressed.
I'm stressed. You should
Oh,
do it.
that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Didn't think about that. Okay.
No
yeah.
problem at all. Just as a.
On the
Alright.
stress meter, Red is.
He's
Let's get out of here. We got supplies.
And for the sake, do I add a 2 bonus? Is anyone else helping out with it or no? It's fine. I just want to know if I should add it.
Is it impact things if I'm helping?
You can help while stressed. That would not hurt.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Since you have to do it beforehand. There we go.
Oh,
The worst timeline.
that's not so good. So I think you're about to start your scavenging and you're kind of digging around and you're looking at stuff and you're opening. You're like, okay, what's in? Oh, it's the dog. It looks like at some point someone in the family decided that the dog was using up important stuff, and you found the remains that were probably hidden. Maybe there was a story about an upstate, farm that the dog went off to, but
Uh-huh.
it didn't. It's just kind of crammed into this little bin. It's frozen now. It's been cold for a while, and I think you're going to take a point of stress off of that
Oh.
because it doesn't look like, Walker's got it or it died, Someone just decided that the dog was too much and probably didn't suffer.
She's not gonna say anything. She's gonna close it back up. And kind of put it back and be like, nothing over here.
So, the good news is for the next couple of weeks at least, you've taken care of the trouble with the Haven. You've got a bit of a food supply restored. Certainly, it'll carry you through the spring when you can do a little bit more scavenging from there. You now have another place that you could take supplies from. You could potentially pull down those solar panels, maybe get any of the propane, fuel, etc. that they've got left over, and you know where a vehicle is that you could access the snowmobile as well as the station wagon. But we'll kind of pick that one up next time. What I'd like to do at this point is start to close out the session. There's a couple of things that we do as the session ends to start asking about experience, what we've learned, and what might go on. One of those things is, does anyone need to face their fears, which would be if you have achieved more than 5 stress, and I don't think anyone did that. There's a few other potentials. No one has lost an anchor, which is good. An anchor is not turned against you. You have not killed or brutally beaten anyone who cannot defend themselves. You've not been broken by any damage. And something you built or struggled hard to achieve, such as your haven, has not been destroyed. So I don't believe you've hit any of those breaking points. We won't need to worry about that piece there. So, as far as XP that you'll be earning from our session 0 here, did you participate in the session? I feel like you all did, so that's 1 XP for everybody. Did you achieve something important? If so, what? I'll turn it over to you. Did each of you achieve something important?
We learned the fate of the family that was camping out north of us and dealt with the threat.
You got it?
That's pretty important.
Pretty
Right.
important. As long as you feel that's
We got
important for your
supplies.
character.
I mean, we also
We
if
did
we
get
look at
supplies.
the,
Yeah.
let's see, if we look at the title of the stream, it says "Gotta get supplies."
We got supplies.
gotta get supplies.
Did title
We
the
will
stream.
survive.
This was
We will
important.
survive till spring.
It pushes us forward.
You got it. Sounds good. So I'd say everybody qualifies for a second one for that. Did you learn something? If so, what?
We learned the fate of the family and the dog.
You might be doubling up there. Let's go
Yeah.
for personal
Um,
growth moment, maybe.
Gotcha. Wait, sorry. Repeat the question again.
Did you learn
Personal growth.
something? If so, what?
Red's one hell of a locksmith.
Red's a heck of a locksmith. The party did learn things, so it's just a matter of remembering what you learned.
We learned that there is shops down in town that could possibly still hold the supplies that we need.
We learned of a farm. Was it Abby's farm or was it just a farm?
That is part of Abigail's family farm. So
Part of the family farm. Okay, so we learned that there's a farm and that it could be risky because there's stuff there, but there is a farm where she said she would teach us to grow things and how to preserve things.
I learned that I need to control Charlie a little bit more in the field.
Don't let Charlie near the pantry. Did you explore at least one new sector on the travel map? Yes, you did. You headed to a new location, so you do get that one. Did your drive or issue or relationships make an impact on the session? I don't think anyone called out a drive for the +2. I'm not sure if issues did. I'm not sure if pantry rating is part of Charlie's issue.
I
It's the authorities, the closest I got.
Oh, okay. Did that
I-
drive your actions? Go ahead. Sorry, Tabitha, cut you off there.
No. Let him finish first since he has it.
I mean, disregarding, I'd say, Jude tell me to come back, I'd say is pretty anti-authority. Or just an asshole.
Bless
I would
you.
say either can qualify you for there. So, yep. Anybody else managed to employ their drive, issue, or relationship?
I want to say yes, but no, because I didn't. For my issue, Tabitha's an alcoholic, but I never actually said I'm looking for alcohol. I forgot
Mhm.
to do that. I just need to remember that in the future. Now that I've said it, hopefully I'll remember.
It'll lock it in. And then the
Lock it
last
in.
one is, and you didn't get an opportunity to do this, we will do this for next session, holding a dearly departed monologue. So at the start of the session, we will round robin, and someone can hold a dearly departed monologue, do a 2 to 3 minute bit to camera, thinking back on someone that they've lost. And making a comment about them. We got a little bit of that from the lost relationships and family members who may or may not be dead, but this is a little bit of a reminiscing about them and exploring a little bit more of your past that we will kick off for next session. So, with those experience points, please take a note. You will be able to use those to buy skill improvements or talents. Buying a skill or a new talent is 10 experience, so you will build up from there. And we will pick this one back up. Probably not next week, because that seems awful holiday weeky. But hopefully shortly thereafter to play a little bit more Walking Dead. Thanks everybody for dropping in and hanging out. We've been 20 sides to every story. Today we were playing Free League's The Walking Dead universe game. We've got a bunch of other stuff going on, including tomorrow night a special holiday-themed event with characters much beloved being badly impersonated by many people for fun and profit. There will also be several warm and cold apple nights served, and we hope that will certainly be entertaining. Alex, what is the title for that one? It's not right handy. The Doom.
The Doom That Came to Christmas Town.
There we go. The Doom That Came to Christmas Town, a DCC adventure of frivolity. Following that, it's not a Dolmenwood week this weekend, correct?
No Dolmenwood.
No Dolmenwood this week, but more stuff to come from there. If we don't catch you between then and now, happy holidays, but hope to see some of you next week. We promise no whamming.
Could I just? Oh yeah, no whamming.
No whamming.
Just while we're on stream, if anyone after the game tomorrow, if anyone wants to hang out, or even before the game tomorrow, if anyone wants to hang out in general too for a bit, probably be hanging out, chatting, kind of just getting together and enjoying each other's company for a little bit before the game session.
Yeah.
And after as well. So if anyone wants to come, please join the Discord.
If you want to jump right to that, just donate a lot of wandering encounters and DM rerolls, and we could end the game pretty early and hang out.
And
whatever you want.
Can
I thought you were doing that, but yeah.
Very quickly. So thanks everybody. We will post up when we are doing our next version of this. I had a lot of fun. Hopefully the players enjoyed. We were definitely new to some of the mechanics and I was using some of them wrong, but we will get that involved because secretly the threat isn't so much the walkers, it's the other people. So we'll bring other people into it next time. I can't do that. Makes me dizzy.
These other people. They're the problem.
They're the problem.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, take care of these people.
And we haven't visited the aquarium store yet, so haven't found our coral. We gotta find the coral.
They got fish in there. They got fish in their coral.
There's food.
Yeah. Fresh fish.
Bubblers, Carl.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. We're going to hop off. Alex, if you're handy, there we go. Let's go see High Shelf Collective. Catch you there.
We're playing Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Ooh, Ghostbusters.